We have Spirit of the Living God in F. So before we start going into the details of the piece, we'll look at the bass line. A lot of times when we have a bass line with the same bass note, it is good to not pedal each chord individually. And if you're playing on the organ, you could just hold the bass, let's say here is F, just hold the bass and not play boom, 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 you can just go, and it's one pedal on the piano or on the organ, you are holding the F. So that's a very basic hymn playing technique. And then all the pedalings will have to be syncopated. Syncopated pedaling means you pedal after you play, and it's a tough coordination. So you don't pedal and play at the same time because it will become choppy and at times it will be blurry. So I will demonstrate here. I'm going to play Spirit of the Living God, just like that. Or pedal, pedal, pedal. So you have to maybe practice a C, D, E, F, G. So you tell yourself, play pedal, up 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 pedal. Otherwise, you're going to have a choppy sound, which will sound like this. And when people are singing, they need to have the keyboard is playing a singing line that is legato. All right, and then of course you have to use harmonic pedaling, or some books would say pedal harmonically, or some music would just put pedal harmonically right at the beginning. So that means you pedal when you change. So those two have to go together: syncopated pedaling and harmonic pedaling. That way the line will be smooth. So I would just play from beginning to end and illustrating these two concepts: syncopated pedaling and harmonic pedaling. Okay, notice that right here, this, I kind of used one pedal because it's a passing tone. So if you're just using one pedal, that's okay. Or if you want to use two pedals, that's okay too, but just make sure that it's not choppy sounding. And then there are times when I did not repeat playing the bass, like here. You can play it, but make sure that, again, it's not too articulated. Okay, and then I also want to explain right here, I said use half pedal, which means you don't depress your foot the whole way through. So going from Fill Me, okay, I did a half pedal on that second beat. Okay, so here's about playing with a legato singable tone, and I also voiced my soprano, and the congregation usually would sing the soprano unless you have a very sophisticated congregation that might sing parts. But what you want is to really portray the meaning of the words, and it's invoking the Spirit to fill us. And so it's more meditative, and you don't want to make it sound choppy. Okay, so let's say you want to have more variations. And a lot of times if you have a church job and you have different hymns every week, and it seems like you're just making do, learning the hymns, but there are certain skills that are really important, and that would be the learning to play hymns as if they are variations. And since this hymn is just one verse, you wouldn't play many times, but a lot of times you would want to play it 2 times. And usually when you play hymns, you should not play the hymn stanzas or hymn times the same way every time. You have to have some kind of difference. So here is, and some of you might already know, that the possibilities of making a hymn sound interesting and also bringing out the meaning of the words. So as I said earlier, don't play the repeated bass, hold them, especially for the organ. And some of the ideas of variations would be adding octaves in the bass, which means in the left hand you are playing an octave or low. Or you can play the F and the octave, okay? And in that case, you would be playing the right hand playing 3 notes. So it will be like this. Altogether, you have 5 notes. And make sure everything that I said earlier will apply, that you are not going to play choppy. So your left hand is playing octaves. And then we continue. So it sounds fuller. And we go here, the same thing. So you're asking, what did I just do? I left my left hand, but with the pedal. And you can do that. And back to. And right here, notice how I did not play. I just lightly repeated my thumb. So that is what I meant by adding the bass. Okay, then we will look at another possibility. And that is adding eighths in the bass. So when you have eighths in the bass, that makes it, it can't escape arpeggios and scales. So if you have an arpeggio, it would never be a 1, 3, 5, 8. You would never do that because that would sound very, very, very square. And then also the 3 of the F is the A, and it's already in the soprano, so you don't need that. A good exercise would be to practice left hand using the 5th finger, using, let's say, the 5th finger, and the 2nd finger, and the 1 finger, or that kind of texture. All right, so I'm just experimenting as well, and I want to provide a flow. Okay, and my right hand is playing with 3 notes. Okay, let's try. All right, so when you have moving notes, there isn't much that you can do. So I just played an octave. Then when you go to the G, that would give you the opportunity to play the arpeggio. I played G, D, G, B flat. Okay, so. And right here, spirit, I played F, C, F, G, A, G, F, C. So I played arpeggio, and then I had scale up. So that would be kind of nice. So I played C, C, F, A. So when you change chords, don't worry that you must have all eighth notes, okay? So that is a good method to play that F, octave, and then you use the fingering of 5, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 5. Okay, so those are the eighth notes. The eighth notes, 5, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, like that. So I'll go from Melt Me. Okay, then another way is to give a brief, simple introduction. So I wrote add intro there. And that is, you can, there are tons of organ pieces with introductions or hymn arrangements that you could just think of maybe. All right, so that is if you're playing this as a special music. But if you want people to be able to sing at your simple introduction, and then you can play the last line, that would be nice, for example. Well, that didn't work so well. Then we sing, okay? Now, another way too is to roll the chords. So this would be maybe if you have to play it 3 times, and we call it play a diamond texture. Okay. You get the idea, and that gives a more sparse and more reflective texture.